Okay, hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Ahmed Show, here again with one of our favorite guests,
Absolutely
Yasmin.
not. Absolutely not. Hi everyone, I'm back.
You're back.
I'm back.
You're here in the flesh.
I am. I'm in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
As people know, we only see each other once a lunar cycle for conjugal visit.
Oh my God.
Is that what happens?
No, we see each other like roughly every 9 days.
It's like being in prison. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely better than prison.
PG Ramadan safe.
Yes.
Yeah. And you might be stuck here.
We'll see. I think I'm going to get out, inshallah. I feel pretty confident.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
But New York just did get a crazy storm, like 20 inches of snow. In some places in Long Island, it was like 30.
Yeah, it looks crazy.
Yeah.
From the pictures.
Yeah.
I hope they snow shoveled the runway.
I hope so too. It sounds scary.
Yeah.
You have like a little mohawk right now. It's kind of cute. Yeah.
I've been wearing the shishiya all day.
Yeah. It's snowing here too, but not as intensely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's been going on?
So much stuff. Let's see. Yeah, New York has been good. I miss you, but it's really nice spending time with family. That's been lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Been seeing some friends, mostly friends of friends that I know through North Carolina. They also saw a good friend from grad school and seeing a high school friend next weekend. So it's been nice reconnecting with people.
Yeah.
I think I spent like the first week and a half just running around eating pastries. And now I'm like, oh shit, I got to write a book.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of buckling down. But I don't know. I do feel like a little in between places, which I guess I am literally. So that makes sense. I mean, I'm between Pittsburgh and New York. I'm mostly in New York, but even within New York, I'm between my parents' place in Brooklyn and then my fellowship is in Harlem, which is like a 70-minute commute. So I'm not going in as much as I thought I would because it's far. I'm just like a little all over the place. I also have very weird flashbacks when I take the subway from my fellowship back home. I just feel like I'm in high school again. Like it's the weirdest feeling because there's so many high schoolers at that time on the subway. And I had an hour-long commute when I was in high school. And it's so weird being back in that place. But it's nice being in New York. It's interesting. It feels more hopeful than a lot of the country in a lot of ways. So that's nice. Though the affordability crisis is like intense and you feel that with everyone you get coffee with.
Yeah.
But there's a sense of like cautious optimism, I think. Or like a sense of like being excited about culture and the arts, and that kind of feels cool. Like being in a place where every night you could do something, though I'm not, 95% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good. Ramadan Mubarak. I think that's the other reason why I'm having a hard time working a little bit is like Ramadan started, which is awesome, but the sleep thing is always a challenge for me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Though the days are short now, so that's awesome. Like food-wise, it's really not that hard. And it's kind of a beautiful cycle of life thing because it's back to being winter, like when we were kids.
We hosted a big iftar.
We did. We've done that every year. Even before we got married, we hosted our first one.
Yeah.
So this is our fifth one.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we kind of bicker as we are getting ready, but we pull it off. And alhamdulillah, it was such a beautiful experience. It was really lovely.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
nice.
This was big. It was like 40 people.
Yeah, dude. As soon as I stopped working on Friday, I was cooking until midnight.
Yeah, you worked really hard.
That was tough. And then woke up and cooked some more.
Yep. It was awesome though. It was a really fun time.
It was, yeah.
I think we've got a goal of like, I don't know, since we are basically stuck in Pittsburgh because of my job, and we're happy to be stuck here. We really love our community, but for I think reasons that we've elaborated on.
It's a prison.
It's not a prison, but it's like
where we both will die.
we probably wouldn't be in this particular city if it weren't for my job.
Yeah.
For a number of reasons. One, I think we prefer a slightly larger city. I think we prefer a slightly more diverse city, a slightly less segregated city, and a city that's closer to our families. Having said that, we've met amazing people here. But yeah, I don't know, if we're here long term, which I think we are, I think it would be really cool there is like a very rich Muslim history here, which is very cool. And I've been learning more and more about it.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of different Muslim communities here, like in every way imaginable, different theological backgrounds, different racial backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds. And I think it's cool. It's really just cool that there's so much richness in such a relatively small city. So, but it does seem quite siloed. So Yeah, I don't know. I'm not here this Ramadan, so I can't do my thing I've been saying I do forever of like checking out different mosques and whatnot, but just trying to like meet more Muslims that are not just like young professionals. Though I will say we continued to have an event that was mostly like people our age. We had one person who was older, which was great. And then we had more families this time. So that was nice. Like more people with kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, just trying to broaden circles in that way and kind of like connect people to each other and connect to more people is definitely a goal I think of ours. So it was nice to work towards that.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, speaking of mosques, I went to the Islamic Center of New York City, which is Imam Khalid Latif's mosque. For anyone who watched Mamdani's inauguration, he gave the kind of like opening speech or a speech as part of that. I'm sure a lot of people know Khalid Latif from other places, but in case you don't. And that mosque used to be part of NYU. I've only been once, and I guess you've been once before, but we haven't been together.
We used the bathroom there one time.
Yeah, but we haven't like prayed there together. But yeah, they've gone independent. They're no longer connected to NYU, but it's in the same area. And it was such a nice, refreshing experience. It was very cool. I'm going to try and go once a week. Yeah, it just felt really good. I went with a friend who was really supportive and lovely, and it felt really good to be in a mosque that I felt like comfortable in. And I really want to work on building my tolerance for those kinds of spaces because I think that's, it's something I'd like to work on. So
Yeah, don't bend the cable. That's nice though.
yeah, it was like very barely gender segregated. They have Shia and Sunni prayers, which is so sweet. I think that's just like incredible. Yeah, it's a really like lovely space. Yeah, I mean they're still building it. You can see the pipes; they're exposed to the ceiling, but they're using the space that they have since it is Ramadan. But yeah, I really, really appreciated that.
Nice.
Yeah. What are your updates?
Just that we did the iftar.
You've been traveling a lot?
I've been traveling a lot. I said this, you'd know if you listened to the last episode.
I haven't, but I will, I promise.
You don't have to.
I just got here. No, I want to.
What else? I just got back home. I was doing like a little panel speaking thing. That was fun.
Wait, I feel bad. I feel like I have to make like a caveat. We really do like Pittsburgh. Like we've met incredible people here. I'm just thinking about like how much like cool community engagement you've been doing. Like we genuinely love the people we've met here.
That's true.
We're not unhappy in the city at all. It's just kind of, I think, coming to terms with the collapse of the job market and realizing that like there's not really a choice, you know? It feels good to have a choice.
It's just like it's too far away from the East Coast.
That's also true. It's just too far from like your sister and both my sisters and my parents. Yeah.
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 But could be worse.
Yeah.
For
definitely.
sure. We could be in Ohio.
Yeah. That's been the main thing we've adopted as Western Pennsylvanians is a hatred of Ohio.
Or somewhere in Missouri.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I don't really know anything about Missouri. I'm not going to lie. I've heard St. Louis is nice though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But did your community thing go well tonight?
Disaster.
No, you said it was good.
Oh, yeah, it was good.
Good. I'm glad. You've been doing a lot of public speaking. I'm proud of you.
Have I?
I guess it started a little while ago with like speaking more at protests, but I feel like, I guess I'm connecting that in my head. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Oh, I have one more update. I got a brick.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a thing.
Because you have been struggling with an addiction.
I would say we both do.
I don't. I don't struggle.
I don't agree with you.
Yeah, you're projecting.
Okay.
I read before bed.
You do, mashallah.
And I work too much during the day to scroll.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've regained control of my brain.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay. You're right. You describe your own relationship with technology, but I wouldn't say I don't feel personally that I'm that much more addicted than the average person. Like when I'm out socially, I'm hyper aware of how often people are on their phones.
Yeah.
And I think I'm the same, but I definitely don't think I'm alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even just like, I mean, it's nice.
I think you did it because you needed to be more productive at work.
I actually did it mostly for my sleep.
Oh.
Yeah, because I like will doom scroll or I'll like look things up or make lists or read the news. Yeah.
Right.
But you're also right. It's definitely helped with work. And then also for Ramadan, like I also have transitioned to my burner Instagram account where I just follow like educational stuff and stuff happening in New York.
What's the name?
It's my burner account. I can't say.
Burner account?
Yeah. I follow you and my sister and 2 of my very good friends, and that's it.
Oh, is it the sexual wizard account that just followed me?
Yes, that is.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm glad you're accepting those requests. That's good to hear.
Yeah. Of course.
That makes me feel good.
When sexual wizard 9201
Yeah,
starts
I was
following
like,
you.
what will help me spiritually focus during Ramadan? This sexual lizard.
Oh, actually, I have an update
Yeah.
on Instagram. Okay. This is about the guy who I told you about.
Oh, the guy you love in Raleigh?
Yeah, I can't remember if I said this
did.
on the last episode.
Yeah, I think you did.
Did I?
But refresh
You didn't
people's
listen
memory.
to the last episode.
No, you said it on the last one we were on together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen any, like, he's gone dark. And
Oh,
there's
no.
no Rodney the No Hand King is not AI generating porn anymore for some reason.
He knew that you needed to lower your gaze for Ramadan.
Maybe.
And he was like, let me not distract this man. Let me block him.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That was the only thing keeping me hooked to my phone.
Was that looking
Yeah.
at that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I really say it last episode?
I'm fairly certain.
No.
Yeah, but I could be wrong
Because people are going to be lost if
if they don't have
If I
the
didn't,
context. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's like been helpful to have a little bit of a break. I'm not going to say I'm totally like tech free at all, but like I am significantly less on my phone right now. And
yeah,
it's nice.
it's working out. I was skeptical.
No, it's really good. If anyone's on the fence, it's an excellent device. It seems stupid.
Oh, hold on. They're not paying us.
No, but I think that I'll just do it for free. Like it seems silly, but having something physical that you connect to turn it off and on is definitely like it really helps.
One thing that I don't understand is that you have to tap it to brick it, right?
So you can set ahead of time that it automatically bricks, but you always have to tap it to unbrick it.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you can like just set it to being bricked from your phone.
You can create, so I have like a nighttime setting, which starts automatically at 9 p.m. It'll start in 12
But
minutes.
can't you just like, if it's during the day and you're like, I need to focus for like 50 minutes, you can't just set a timer and be like, break this for 50 minutes?
It's more of like a setting. You could just create the schedule for the day, sure, but it's supposed to be more habitual than that. You could also just physically get up and tap it, and that would be brick it.
Yeah, I know, but like why? I understand getting up and tapping it to
unbrick
unbrick it, but
I
I
see
don't
what you're
understand.
saying. I mean, you could if you wanted set it from your phone,
Yeah.
but I'm not that good with tech, so I just set it for every night.
I came up with an idea that's better than the brick,
It's pretty good.
and it's called, I don't have a name for it yet, but it's like you kind of do the same thing where you set a timer, and if you scroll for more, or if you're on social media or whatever apps you set that count toward your time limit, if you exceed the time limit and you're still scrolling, then it like this like dominatrix voice tells you just like, oh, you like that, you little piggy? You like the content? Why don't you scroll some more, you little content whore
Oh my
slut?
God. It's Ramadan, Ahmed.
Oh yeah, but it's nighttime
Okay.
right now when we're recording this.
It is. Yeah. You could call it oink.
No, oink is.
I think
it's
that's
a
so
little
funny.
too. No,
No?
yeah,
Some play on sub,
yeah,
like, for a subordinate.
yeah.
I don't know. I like it though. I think it's a fun idea.
What about scroll mommy?
That's actually pretty good.
I don't know. We'll workshop it.
You're
but
working on an app right now, which you're not going to talk about
Shh, don't
because
tell
I don't
people.
want you to.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited. I think it's a cool idea. You're a very good, like, big idea person. That's
Yeah.
always been a strength of yours. Yeah.
Yeah, it lets men harass women on the subway.
No, it's not that. Thank God.
Oh,
They
somehow.
don't need an app for that.
yeah. No, it's a prediction market app.
I predict that the stock market's going to crash within the next year.
What do you mean?
That's what I mean.
What do you mean, like crash momentarily or forever?
Significantly, like 2008 financial crisis style.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's precipitating it?
The tariffs, even though there's been a reprieve, I don't think it'll actually happen. And then I think just general instability, like as we keep on invading places. Yeah.
Us invading places makes the stock market good.
Yeah, but it's kind of happening in a way that like there's almost like full transparency. I just think it's going to cause like,
Yeah.
people
And
will
especially
like,
as we shift more of the economy into AI and defense tech,
yeah,
imperialism is a great business.
yeah, I think it's going to bust. Anyway,
Okay.
one more thing I want to say with the brick is I feel like, I don't know, I think people often have this idea, or I had this idea of like, I should just have better willpower. But I think like, if you think about anything else that you try and do in your life, like you try and exercise more, you try and sleep better, whatever, like any good habit, like it requires tools, you know what I mean, that help you like habituate yourself. Like generally for a lot of people, if you don't have like a schedule of when you exercise, and if you don't find types of exercise that you actually enjoy, like you're not going to do it.
I mean, yeah, I feel the same way about like if I'm getting into a hobby, I'll do my research and then I'll be like, oh, these are the tools that I want to get started with the hobby.
Yeah, but I just gonna, yeah.
Yeah,
Like I was gonna say, I think it's like I think it's kind of silly to be like, well, I can just do this through sheer force of will. Like honestly, these companies like create these things to be very dopamine addictive. Like they are like genuinely, I think, pretty bad for your brain. And so I think it's like a good thing to be proactive and find tools to help you manage that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was a really great ad for Brick.
You're welcome.
That we're not going to get paid for.
Any other updates? Yesterday was really fun.
No other updates.
It was fun yesterday. We had a good time.
It was good.
We looked at houses. We're not buying anytime soon,
Yeah, we did.
but we're
We
researching.
toured 2 places.
Yeah.
One of which we were so far apart on.
Yes.
Oh, to me, it felt like a funeral home.
I thought it was really cute.
And you really liked it.
Yeah, I kind of knew you weren't going to like it, but I actually didn't think you were going to dislike it that severely.
Yeah. I like hated it.
The first one we both loved, but it was way out of our price range. And even if it had been in our price range, it wasn't quite right, honestly. But it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Like
Okay,
it was
you gotta
really
stop playing with that cord.
It was very pretty aesthetically.
Yeah.
So that was kind of just cool to see.
Yep.
And then we just like hung out. It was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you got for us?
So I have an item that I sent to you if you want to pull it up, because it's kind of interesting to go through in some detail. A joint fatwa was issued by the Fiqh Council of North America and the Assembly of Muslim Jurists of America. Mm-hmm. And there's been a lot of like chatter about it in terms of like Muslim Americans strongly disagreeing with it or agreeing with it.
Can you pay zakat in cryptocurrency?
Somewhat.
What is it? Oh, what is
Not
it?
quite that bad, thankfully. But so can you pay zakat to political campaigns?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Isn't it supposed to go to the poor?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Those
so
poor politicians.
a couple of thoughts on this. So first, for those who aren't familiar, zakat is actually fairly complicated. The concept isn't, but the mechanics are. So the concept is like it's one of the 5 pillars. You're supposed to give part of your money to charity, right? Mm-hmm. So like the sayings of the Prophet Muhammad that we have that tell us to do this largely are coming from a time and context in which there wasn't actually that much physical currency being traded. It was mostly like exchange and barter of items.
Really?
Yeah, like if you think about like hadith,
People had coins?
not that much in the Arabian Peninsula, before the coming of Islam.
Really? They didn't have any sort of credit systems or like way of
No, they
like,
would use
doing
sometimes
ledger?
like Byzantine coins or Sasanian coins, but like the tribes in the Arabian Peninsula didn't have their own currency.
Interesting.
Yeah. The first like currency that we have that gets issued is from the Umayyads, from like that are like Arab Muslims. Mm-hmm. Yeah, people definitely like traded with like Zoroastrians and the Sasanian Empire and like Christians in the Byzantine Empire and like use some of their currency. Mm-hmm. But a lot of monetary exchange was based on like camels. Like they were the most valuable thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're their transportation, they're a source of food in multiple ways. So a lot of what we have is like, so-and-so or this kind of exchange is worth like this many camels. And so all that to say, like a lot of interpretive work had to be done in order to understand like the monetary values.
Yeah.
And a lot of that work was done very early, right? Like as soon as the prophet dies, like Islam expands and we have empire building and that sort of thing. So I'm not saying that like it all happened last year.
Yeah.
But even then, the financial system that we live in now is still very different than like the Umayyad Empire or the Abbasid Empire or any pre-modern Islamic empire.
Right.
So
you got blockchain
right.
SAS.
And we
They
have
had the hump chain.
I mean, as much as you want to avoid things like riba, which most Muslims would agree is, haram,
Interest.
right? We live in a world that is predicated off interest, and it's pretty impossible to like avoid, especially in the U.S.
Yeah.
So basically, after this kind of like set amount that you're able to have in assets, then what you currently hold is taxed at a rate of 2.5%. So it's actually a little bit different. I only understood this recently. It's not as if like, it's not like a tax in the way that like in the US, maybe this isn't a good example, but if you make $100,000, it's not the case that you have to pay 2.5% of 100,000. It's the case that after your basic needs are met, which is a pretty low number, the gold equivalent of which today would be maybe around like $13,000. After $13,000 in assets, your assets after that are taxed. So it's your assets. It's not your like income over a year. Does that make sense?
Wait. So after your current needs are met, what do you mean? Like out of your income?
So it's not necessarily based on your yearly income. It's based on your assets. But even then, it's not all of your assets. It's like
So
your assets minus $13,000.
What are we counting in your assets?
Right. So that's a good question. So, I mean, really anything that you could get money for. So I think even if it's technically not a halal source of income, you could count stocks, you could count any real estate, all that kind of stuff. But it's just interesting because I think the system we live in is kind of set up that a lot of us like live off a lot of credit. You know what I mean? And so not that many of us actually have assets, like even people with pretty high paychecks.
A lot of people have assets, but they also have student loan debt. It's about cash flow.
Exactly. But it's not about cash flow. That's the thing. If you go on any Zakat calculator, you're supposed to like subtract your debt. If you really do that, most people don't have that much left over.
Okay. What if you're like Elon Musk and you're like, I pay myself $1 a year, but I have mostly debt. And that's how you.
But he doesn't have mostly debt. He has a ton of assets because it's not based on your yearly income. It's based on your assets. So,
okay.
I'm not saying this is right. I'm just saying
yeah.
this is how people tend to calculate it.
So
I don't know if we actually would be eligible to pay zakat.
what are you talking about? We have a cat. She's
that's
worth
what I'm
at least
saying.
like 1/20 of a camel.
That's what I'm saying. I would say we're very like middle class. Are we upper middle class?
I don't know how you count these things. I mean, by income.
By income, certainly.
But by assets, we don't.
But
really
we don't. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Wait, let me put this down. I'm getting hot.
We have a car. We paid off the car.
That's true. The car would be a taxable asset. Yeah. So we have a car, but I have student loans. Like I think my student loans are worth as much as the car, right?
Your student loans are worth more than the car.
Are worth more than the car.
Or I guess like outweigh the car.
They outweigh the car. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like two cars.
Yeah. So anyway, we
You
do.
just had to go to Harvard.
I know.
Yeah.
We do give money to charity. We think that's important. I don't think you should necessarily go based off of this. Anyway, just interesting to note. And everything I'm saying is a matter of interpretation. Like, I think that there are ways to interpret it differently if you're going back to the original sources, if you're going back to Quran and Hadith. But if you're pulling up your average Zakat calculator, these are kind of the numbers that you're going to get in the way that it's going to calculate.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say, off the bat, I had the same reaction as you, but the initial question that was posed to the Fatwa Council was kind of thoughtful. Given the reality of what is happening in Gaza and that one of the most effective ways to help prevent genocide is by supporting politicians or campaigns that change public policy, is it permissible to give zakat for such purposes? So in that way, I guess things like the Not on Our Dime campaign you volunteered with, like that could be zakat eligible, which that to me makes sense. That feels different than like a politician. Would you agree? But the fatwa ends up kind of combining these two things under the same category.
I think the point of zakat is that it is liquid assets that are transferred immediately to someone who needs them and can immediately be used, and not like some sort of speculative thing. So like investing in a politician who says, yeah, sure, I'm against the genocide, in a system that can't be swayed or like moved by one politician. And again, you have to take like the politician at their word, right? Like you can't, you're assuming that they're not like, fast talking you or, like being duplicitous. So to me, it is like a little bit of a speculative investment, and you are just perhaps, and like, especially if it's in like the Democratic Party, if you're like, I'm
investing in the Democratic Party.
I'm investing in the Democratic Party because I think that is better than just giving money to a homeless person or like someone directly in Gaza.
What if it's someone like Summer Lee, who's been a really great advocate for Palestine?
What's Summer Lee done for Palestine though? I'm sorry. Like, yeah, she's been a great advocate,
but
whatever.
Compared to like giving directly, you're saying?
The money would be better spent if you're like, should I give $1,000 to Summer Lee or should I give $1,000 to someone on the ground in Gaza that can feed like 100 families?
I actually totally agree with
you.
you.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And here are the 8 categories that like the schools have kind of agreed on. They see kind of being confirmed explicitly in the Quran as being for zakat. The first one is the poor. The second is the needy. Presumably those overlap a little bit, but I guess needy.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
There's a difference between like waqf and zakat.
Yeah.
To make an investment that is like you hope will pay, and I don't think like giving it to a politician counts as like waqf or whatever, but yeah, like that to me, if you want to make an investment that pays some sort of dividend in the future or has some benefit in the future, that's different than zakat.
Yeah, and to your point, like
there's already a thing for that.
Nothing about zakat means that you can't give more, right? Like if you could give your zakat, which is obligatory, and then give more of your wealth to other causes in other ways, for sure.
Right.
Yeah. So the poor, the needy, those employed to administer it, I think that's really nice. In other words, those who are like giving aid, you know. For those whose hearts are attracted to the faith, this is sometimes glossed as those whose hearts need to be softened. 5, freeing slaves. 6, those in debt. 7, for Allah's cause, so proselytizing presumably. And 8, for needy travelers. So it's this kind of 4th category of those whose hearts needs to be softened on which the jurists in this case are kind of building their case, which is interesting. I pretty much agree with you, though. A bunch of people signed off on this, including Yasser Qadhi of Epic Mosque, which we've talked about before. He's in Texas. Ihsan Bagby, I don't really know what he's up to anymore, but he's done some really interesting research back in the day on Muslim American mosques, communities. Jasser Ouda, who writes a lot about Maqasid. Mm-hmm. I don't recognize any of these other names. There was a dissenting opinion, which is also interesting. Mm-hmm. And 3 women signed on to that. I thought that was interesting. There's like a gender difference there. And some men as well, who I'm not familiar with.
Okay, what was the opinion?
The dissenting opinion?
Yeah. We haven't done a fatwa frenzy in a while.
We haven't.
I gotta play the music.
Yeah, you gotta. Basically saying that this doesn't fall into these 8 categories. And that from a legal theoretical standpoint, this enumeration signals intentional constraint. Zakat is therefore not a general purpose communal fund.
Intentional, or you said contentional?
Intentional, sorry. Constraint. Intentional.
Okay.
Yeah. Zakat is therefore not a general purpose communal fund, but a regulated act of worship whose distribution cannot be indefinitely broadened through appeals to a public interest, maslaha, or necessity absent clear juristic warrant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What school is this following?
So this is the thing. These councils are not like, because we live in the U.S. where like obviously Sharia law is not part of the system, in spite of Islamophobes' claims otherwise. None of these people have to like follow.
I see.
Yeah. I generally, really, the kind of classical legal schools, people don't necessarily like clearly pick one anymore. They're just kind of drawing on like the main 4 Sunni madhahib.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was interesting. I also was just kind of surprised by how many people responded to it, because I feel like generally people don't really care or listen to these councils. So I was intrigued that people like, you know, like I never think, oh, is XYZ halal, and then look up the fatwa opinion of one of these 2 councils. Like I don't naturally think of them as an authority. I might come across them like by Googling and stuff, but
I feel like I've been hearing a lot of talk about we need like a Muslim APAC. Right?
Yes, which I think there's something to that.
I wonder if this is their way of trying to make that kind of happen and be like, hey, you can conveniently just give to this thing. I guess they didn't really specify which candidates, but Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think we need a Muslim
what-
APAC though. I think we just need a pro-Palestine APAC. Like I can't think of other things that like, you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, I agree with you. That's what people
That's what people are thinking.
they
I
see
think
it as a
you're right.
counterweight to be like, hey, we need our own thing.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. I mean, ideally we
And I
wouldn't.
think a lot of elite Muslims have also just followed that thinking, have been like, oh, we just need to support like a Muslim PAC that will fund Muslim candidates, and then like they'll necessarily be pro-Palestine.
Yeah. I think to your point, I also agree. I think that the spirit behind Zakat should be like radical redistribution of wealth and like caring for people who are in immediate need. And it should be like,
Yeah.
it should be direct aid. It shouldn't be circuitous in any way.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think the directness and like specifically the liquidity,
And
it
I-
makes it so that, yeah, like the redistribution is immediate. You're not just, because if you're giving to a politician, you're pretty much giving to someone who, I mean, when's the last time like actually like a real poor politician ran in like one office? You know what I'm saying? Like they're pretty much upper middle class.
And
to,
even
like,
if they
super
were
wealthy.
not independently, they have to be funded. So yeah, in order to like run and garner support for office.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it feels like there's nothing actually that is helping to redistribute or like meet any of those 8 needs.
I think to that point also, I think that probably it should actually be a percentage of our income, not our assets, that is taxed. Because I think we live in a world with so much debt right now that there are lifestyle choices that you can make. And like you and I struggle with this all the time and we strive to be better. But like, I think we should think of the money that we make as not our own and that part of it should immediately go back, even if we have debt.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think if we were just like, oh, well, our assets, like our net worth is in the negative because of all these debts, then we don't have to give anything and we could continue like doing whatever we're doing and like living comfortably and like not thinking twice about it. And I feel like that's just a bad way to.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm
Live.
almost going to kind of come around the bend and sound conservative, which I don't mean to, but it could also kind of encourage you to live beyond your means. Like, you know what I mean? Like, well, like,
What do you mean?
like in other words, like in order to have my lifestyle met, I just spend X amount of money, and then, but like actually, you are living in a way that like you should be. Like, I think you and I are living in a way that we should be paying zakat. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
Wait, how's that conservative?
I feel like it kind of can sound a little bit like, how is it conservative?
Conservative would be like, don't take my money.
That's true. I think what can be a little conservative about it is, I guess, like, I think a lot of people live beyond their means.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the conservative part of it, I guess.
Or the average standard of living has gone up. We've talked about this, right? Like
Yeah.
standards of living have gone up, and like for married couples or whatever, but more than ever people feel like they like can't keep up. But yeah, I think I agree. I think people should be compelled to give like what they earn
Yeah.
monthly, and then you should budget for all the other stuff. Like that's over the course of like decades that you pay that off.
Yeah.
So
This is like, these ideas are kind of in tension with each other, but I think it's both true that like it is unaffordable to live in the US and that basic necessities are out of reach and things like healthcare are astronomically high. And it's also true that we live in a hyper-consumerist, hyper-convenience driven society that is not sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm saying like this fully as a self-critique, like the ideal is to be less of that. Like it's not, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And I feel like also seeing zakat as mandatory is a part of that, of like, well, before I like order shit on Amazon and shop at these places, like I should be budgeting in a way that like I have to give back. I also feel really strongly, and this is something that a lot of historically in the US, a lot of Black Muslim communities have advocated for, that at least, I don't know if I have a percentage, but I think that a lot of your zakat should be spent within the US or within communities that you are immediately next to.
Yeah.
I think that's important because I think that, I don't know, I think you have like a responsibility to care for people that you are in community with. That doesn't mean that you can't send your zakat abroad, especially to places like Palestine. Of course you should. But I think you also should give to those in need, like who are physically close to you.
Yeah, that I get it. I don't know. I feel like borders shouldn't necessarily dictate like where your money goes. Like I'm not against people giving, like as long as you're giving to people who are in need of giving, then I feel like it's a valid thing. I think it kind of, again, like the whole point is to design systems such that like the poorest person is better off than they would be under a different system, right? And I think if we were, this is like, so I'm reading the Rawls book or whatever, and he has this idea of the veil of ignorance, right? Like if you were to design a society and you're like behind a veil of ignorance and you don't know like who you would be in that society. So you could be like the, son of doctors and like grow up in like a very well off educated family and have all these advantages. Or you could be like a, street orphan, like you have no idea. So given that, how would you design a society and how would you redistribute things according to like principles of justice? And his thinking is, the argument he makes is that if someone were to actually do this and they were like rational people, the instinct would be to design a society such that like the least well-off person would still have a pretty good life, and that would be done through redistribution of resources, right? Like, so you'd have things like healthcare as a right and like housing and food and education and all that stuff. And I just feel like, just to kind of go back to the zakat thing, like if you are thinking about it as, oh, like I just have to give like a certain amount of money or whatever, and like that's that, or like it's like a thing that just like your taxes that you pay to the federal government, you can get like cute about it and like do all these write-offs and be like, I have this much debt, and you're like trying to minimize the amount. You are kind of just missing the point of like redistribution. And it shouldn't like, I mean, people say like 2.5%, whatever, and I'm just like, it should be more. And it should be maybe even progressive, or like, yeah, it depends on, I feel like there are different ways to look at it with the mindset that you should redistribute as much as you can. And not just individually, but like systemically. Like how do you design systems that do actually do that redistribution? Like I wonder if any of like the Islamic scholars, like if you live in a state that redistributes wealth, if you live like in a socialist state, like a perfect socialist state, would zakat even be necessary? Why? If everyone's paying into the collective good, like you're paying probably a lot more than 2.5% of your income.
I've got a bunch of thoughts. First of all, tell people, because it just seems like a good book, what was the full name of the author in the book you're reading?
It's John Rawls' Theory of Justice.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, a couple things. I think you're spot on with the kind of like radical potential of the idea, but I do think that potential has been like unrealized historically. And I think a lot of it goes back, and this is obviously very much from a believer's perspective. Like I don't feel that everyone has to share this perspective, but I think that there was a lot of radical emancipatory potential in the Prophet's message in terms of Islam being this kind of like equalizer, and this idea that like no matter what your tribal background, like at the time being the most kind of salient category of difference, like that if you like believed in God and submitted to God, like you were equal, right? And that just is literally never realized. Like as soon as the prophet dies, like things sort of shift. And I think that there has been some writing on like the Ottoman Empire at certain points in history doing a decent job, like alleviating extreme poverty. But there's also historically been a lot of like Islamic states that they will institute tax, right? They'll institute zakat, they'll make it mandatory. But then a lot of that money went towards like building institutions like mosques and madrasas and that kind of thing. And not that that's bad. And of course, like people benefited from some of those services, but some of it was just kind of like the state showboating. And you could argue that perhaps that money could have been more directly, to our point again, given to the poor. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It should be going to making the worst off better off.
Yeah. But I would say even in a society that kind of was post-capitalist, I think you still will have some variation. The idea is just that hopefully people's basic standards of living are obviously met and that variation is less.
Yeah.
And that you're always working to like close that gap, right?
That's interesting. Yeah, I think there is like a slight difference between having institutions that lift everyone, including like the worst off, like they overall increase like the standard of living, like average. But then it's different to have money that like in resources that go directly just to like some bottom percentile of the population.
And it's funny because we're talking about such different time periods and contexts, but I feel like it's kind of can get into some contemporary debates too, even about like, you know, how much do you give people who are poor money directly and how much do you give it to services, and like, would you actually be better off giving it more directly to people and they can figure out how to best like.
What's your take on this?
Better their circumstances. I think a mix. I think that there is a lot of bloat and bureaucracy in nonprofits, but on the other hand, you need people who are trained sometimes for certain services. I don't really know the answer. I don't think it's a completely black or white. I think
homeless guy on the street asks you for $5 for a beer.
Yeah, I think you should give the $5. It's not up to you what they spend it on.
Yeah. A lot of people are just like, no. And people try to kind of like make that the moral choice, be like, no, I'm helping him by not giving him the money.
Yeah, I don't think that's real.
Heard that a lot growing up, and like, I'm just like, just give people money, dude. Yeah. Like,
I never like thought about that hard, but you've definitely influenced me in that. I do agree with you. Yeah, it wasn't something I really thought about that much before you, because you tend to give out a lot to the point where I've given you a budget, but I love that about you, mashallah. But yeah, I agree. I think it's like, one, it's condescending, but I think also too, like, I don't know what it's like to be homeless, and I'm sure it's fucking miserable. I just kind of feel like I'm not going to sit and preach at someone and like how they choose to
disgusting.
Like, yeah, if I give someone $5, well, I think some people aren't coming from a bad place. I think they just haven't really thought it through. Like, if I give someone $5, it's not going to alleviate their homelessness. Whatever kind of temporary reprieve they get with that $5 is kind of their business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of North Carolina gossip.
Yeah.
There was this person who I knew, and I'm totally not surprised to hear this about them, but another friend, like another mutual friend of ours, was telling me that this guy is like a kind of a like new age tech hippie who's trying to be spiritual, cool guy or whatever.
Do I know this person?
No, you don't know.
Okay.
You know the mutual friend though, who told me this story.
Who is it?
I'm not gonna say, but
say, you can bleep it.
No, I'm not gonna say.
Okay, fine. Tell me after.
Yeah. But anyway, so this guy who was like very well off had, started a business that got pretty successful. Was approached by like a homeless guy who was wanting money, and I think the guy had, sometimes people have like this story and they're like, oh, I'm trying to catch the bus, go back to where I live, and like I have a job or whatever, blah, blah. Like, and this guy I'd run into as well. Like, he had the same story all the time. It's like, whatever, you just let them give the story or whatever. But anyway, so he did it to this other guy, and the man was like, just tell me the truth. Like, I'll give you the money. But he made him like sit down and like have this conversation with him, and he felt like he was having this like moment of connection with this guy. And I'm like, that's fucking disgusting.
Did he give him the money?
I don't know. I hope so.
I hope so.
I hope he got robbed. I don't know, but I like heard that and I was immediately just like disgusted. I'm like, bro, like this is just another way to. The point is not to make yourself feel good or feel like you're doing the moral thing. I feel like it's almost even just a recognition that you live in an immoral system and it has allowed you to accumulate disproportionate wealth.
Yeah, and the truth is that like even if you're more or less well off, the truth is that for most of us, like you are, I mean, this is like a cliche saying for a reason, especially in the US, like you are closer to being homeless than you are to being a billionaire. Like it really just is life circumstance and luck that you have any security, and your security is probably more tenuous than you'd like to admit.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I wanted to kind of return one more time to this idea, though, of giving zakat locally, because it is something I do feel pretty strongly about. I think because for a lot of like Muslims who immigrated to the U.S., like just speaking for the Pakistani American community, I think that there was a generation or two that people were like only sending money to Pakistan, right? And it's not that people in Pakistan don't need money and that that's not like a worthy cause to give to people who need money in Pakistan or whatever. But then it kind of creates a sense that the only Muslim community that you imagine is this kind of like quote unquote back home community. Mm-hmm. And the truth is that there's Muslims in need like in the US, right? And I think that's important for you to like connect to those people also and sort of feel that your fate is connected to them.
Yep. There are Muslims in prison who need like halal meals.
Yes. Yeah. And actually that is, we should put this in the thing. There's a very, very cool project called, Believers Bailout, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome project, and it's put together actually by a bunch of Islamic studies scholars, and they post bail for incarcerated Muslims, and now they also do a lot of work for folks who are Muslim who are in detention by ICE. And I think that actually is a much clearer connection than these guys are trying to make to that category of freeing people who are enslaved, and they've made that argument that essentially the U.S. system of incarceration is very much akin to like modern day slavery, and that this is a way to kind of fulfill that commandment.
Yeah, I guess if you were to design rules, like the idea is your giving should have as little time between giving an impact as possible. Like that should be your goal.
I think that's a good way of framing it, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that you could I don't have like the tools to do this, but I think someone could make this argument by kind of showing the way that our society has changed from the time of the Prophet to be like, in order to fulfill this greater purpose in our contemporary financial situation, like this is what's required. You know what I mean? Like a camel was a very immediate payment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like it should be an immediate source of, of alleviation. Yeah. I also just think it's kind of funny because it's sort of following like, I don't know, neoliberal trends in a way. I know this was not the intent of these scholars. I don't doubt that, but like with like PACs and just like, I don't know, like money conglomerating in weird ways that is not direct and is not like tied to just one person. It's just like big globs of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. By PACs, I mean like political PACs here in the US.
And if you give to a politician, they're going to go and like, again, if this person's asking about Palestine, how often is Congress voting on laws about Palestine? Like they're mostly voting on budgets, and the budget contains, guess what? Like weapons, a lot of things that are just going to kill Palestinians and probably other people.
That is a place for change, right? If you were fighting against military increases, but yeah.
But so you're going to vote for the most unproductive politician, or like you're going to give money to the most unproductive politician until you have enough politicians to like actually pass legislation.
I mean, if you're going with the kind of like APAC theory, the idea is to buy people's votes essentially.
I mean, that's just like so much money.
Yeah.
Like tens, hundreds of millions of dollars or even billions of dollars.
For sure.
If you raise that much money and you're spending it on politicians' votes here and there to, again, probably not even like move the needle, that's insane.
Yeah, fair enough.
You build your own country, you buy an island.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
All islands now sound like Epstein's Island.
Yeah. What else?
That's all I had for that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had like a just kind of random sad Epstein thought but you may have hit on something similar in your podcast episode.
What is it?
It's just been really depressing. Like, I think it is
Yeah,
more
it has
details.
been bad.
More details are coming out, and it is like, I don't know. Maybe I haven't thought this through enough to talk about it, but I guess I've had kind of two unrelated thoughts. One is like, oh, some of the conspiracy theories were kind of
Right.
in the realm of something, like even the pizza stuff, which is really weird.
The pizza stuff.
Yeah, like apparently they use like slang like pizza and Diet Coke to talk about like underage girls.
The grape
and
soda thing. I think that was actually just them talking about pizza and grape soda.
No, some of the pizza stuff seems like it actually was like, I'm ordering a pizza and they were ordering like an underage girl.
I don't think so. There are a lot of emails in there that are about, specifically, they just talk about young women and whatever like that. I don't think they would be using code. I know what you're talking about. I know the email that you're talking about of him being like, oh, grape soda and pizza or whatever. I think they're actually just talking about grape soda and pizza.
I don't know.
But your overall point of like, yes, there's this
There is a cabal of
conspiracy about
people
a pedophile
that run the
elite.
world that
Yeah.
are pedophiles.
And him
like
being
that
like-
is true. And I will say honestly, I think if you had asked me that 10 years ago, I would have been like, yes, obviously billionaires are corrupt and they're awful and blah, 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 blah. And there's no ethical way to be a billionaire. But I probably wouldn't have said a lot of them are pedophiles or condone the behavior of pedophiles.
Mm-hmm.
So that is like kind of disturbing. Like it is like viscerally disturbing, I think.
It's nuts. I mean, especially in like the British, the British government and the
But they
Labour
were
Party.
like,
How
that,
many?
that guy is actually
investigated.
getting prosecuted, unlike our fucking president.
He goes arrested and then
Good
let
on them.
go.
It's the least they can do,
talking
but
about
it's
Prince
something.
Andrew?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, oh, I don't know what's going to come of it. But then Peter Mandelson got arrested.
Who's that?
I think he's in like the Labour Party, but I'm not really sure exactly. He's another figure.
It's probably showing my ignorance. I don't know who that is. But yeah, a lot of people have been
Look him up.
arrested. You look him up.
I don't have anything with me. I'm
Okay.
not attached to my phone.
I am looking at our shared note for this podcast. Peter Mendelsohn, former European Commissioner for Trade.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Also, ex-ambassador to the U.S. Yeah, someone in Norway, like people everywhere are getting arrested.
Sweden
And Norway. Was there Sweden
and
too?
Norway.
What happened in Sweden?
I think the Swedish royalty was implicated in Epstein files.
Really?
Yeah.
That's sad. Yeah, a few people have like stepped down in the US, but like obviously nothing is happening with our actual president, which is awful.
Well, even I was surprised. I mentioned this on the last episode. If you listened to it, I can't remember his name, but he's like one of the royal family in Emirates, and he runs like a massive logistics company. He's like a billionaire several times over, and even he stepped down.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
That someone with like such power, like concentrated power in a country, steps down, and here,
Sultan Ahmed bin Suleiman.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it shows we're in real like French
How do I forget his name?
Revolution.
His name's Ahmed.
That's funny. Maybe you're just like, I do not associate fair enough.
Ahmed bin Sulaim or something like that.
Bin Sulaim? Yeah.
Sulaim.
I
Yeah.
don't know how to say that, but I think it shows like it's very like French Revolution vibes, very like, yeah, we have no control over our elites. Like I think we're at a precipice. Like it seems worse here than it is in most places in the world / other places in the world that I could draw a parallel to had revolutions.
Yeah.
You know, whether or not they were successful.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing, this is kind of like icky to talk about, but I was talking to one of my closest friends, and I was thinking about this also being back in New York and thinking about like the last time I was in New York, being a young woman who was 18, really a girl, and now being 33. And just like, it's disturbing to think about how much pedophilia is kind of like just normalized in our culture writ large. I mean, yes, it is like a billionaire problem. I think it's also kind of a larger cultural problem. Like I was hit on and harassed a lot when I was a kid, like a lot, like a shit ton. Like
Yeah.
I started commuting alone from the age of 11, and I commuted alone 11 through 18. I started getting hit on pretty aggressively when I was 12. And I wish I could go back to my 12-year-old self and be like, because there is like a weird part of you that is like, oh my gosh, like I look like an adult. Like I look like beautiful. And I don't get hit on by random men on the subway. I get hit on like here and there in other settings, but like not in this kind of like weird way that is very aggressive and that clearly I see in retrospect. And I can't believe that I didn't see it when I was a kid, but I guess I was a kid. Like it was because I was a fucking kid and I clearly looked vulnerable. And like, that is really creepy. And it's such a, and like my friend was like, oh my gosh, like I've had the same thought. And like, we even talk about like, oh, like you think about as much as you can outside of your body, what you look like. And like, you know, there's times that you're more or less attractive. There have definitely been times that I looked like an attractive ass woman and I just didn't look like that when I was 18. You know what I mean? Or 17 or 16 or 15 or really again, 12. Like, so yeah, I don't know what to do with that, but it's like it's not great.
It's certainly gross.
Yeah.
That happened. But then this is like a whole other level almost because these were
But they're connected,
elites.
I think.
Yeah, for sure. But like these are elites who were buying and trafficking women.
Yeah, I don't think
you
you're
know?
saying this, but I'm not saying that like being hit on when I was 12 was in any way traumatic in the way that this was, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I do think that like this money and wealth seems to like have offered a fantasy that is real for a lot of people.
I think this is the distinction that I'm trying to make is like there's certainly like a weird sexualization of like young women just that pervades society at all levels and all class whatever and like
but it's
for a lot of people it is just like that like gross like infantilizing of or like sexualization of like young women. It is everywhere. It's in like media. It's just like generally in society. It's in like fashion, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But like this, I feel like maybe there is an element of that in it, but it's also almost like a manifestation of like global elite like class power over everyone else, and they're like, yeah, maybe we're like also sickos and we like this shit, like, and it like gets us off because we do that same like hypersexualization of young women. But also I think part of what is enticing about it to them is that it is like so taboo and horrible and like they can just get away with it, and that's appealing.
I understand that,
yeah.
but I think that the former point still stands. Like I think like
well, yes,
yeah, like, but I mean, first of all, I don't mean this to like correct you in a way that's harsh because I totally understand what you're saying, but like it's not young women, it's children, like it's actual children, like you know what I mean, like
yeah.
And I know you know that, but just kind of saying that for like people listening, but yeah, like I understand the class-based critique. Obviously, like it is so creepy that like people were able to. It is all a class thing. Like if people were able to buy this kind of access unrestricted to other people's bodies and livelihoods, it's like very disturbing. But what I find in a weird way more disturbing, or as disturbing, and maybe that I don't know if this is fair or not, is the idea that like a lot of people had that impulse, and once they have access to money, they're able to act on it. Yeah, that's the part that's kind of tripping me up. It's like, oh, like, is every like person who like is leeched a word? What's it mean when you like stare at someone? Leeched?
I don't know what you're.
Okay,
Yeah, I think you're not in the ballpark of the
leered. Leered is a word.
Yeah, okay,
Is everyone? Sorry, I'm tired, guys. Is everyone who ever like leered at you like in that way? And like, I want to be clear. I don't want to like. I think it's fine to hit on people in public. I'm not like one of these people, like, I think like sexual chemistry is great. I'm talking about like straight up 40-year-olds talking to 12-year-olds. Like, I want to be super clear. I'm not talking about nebulous situations here.
You kind of see it, like, right? Like it is, there are several examples of very old men with a lot of money who like suddenly get young girlfriends. Like even, I mean,
sports.
you know, like what's his name?
The UNC girl.
The UNC football coach, Bill Belichick, who was the Patriots coach, and his like young girlfriend. She's not
underage,
she's not a child.
But yeah, she's a lot younger.
But it certainly is like you buy.
Is it
like
because people are afraid
whatever,
of dying and like maybe like I'm just like symbolically I wonder what it means. Like maybe like women's youth symbolizes fertility and like people are afraid of dying and that's why it's a status symbol. Like, what's attractive about it? Like, I don't know.
I don't know, but I think there is like an element of like getting off on like defiling something.
Yeah, maybe that's right. Maybe it's both those things.
And I think
Yeah.
young women and like girls are often like, feminine beauty.
It's temporary.
No, it's tied up with like this innocence and like tranquility and like this beauty in a sense that like it shouldn't, like it's pure, right?
Right.
And then like some people get off on like corrupting that stuff, which is like a lot of porn. It's a lot of their society.
Yeah, and I always want to like walk that line because like I like, yes, when I see like a 23-year-old with like a 70-year-old, I'm like, that's weird. But I also do think you should draw the line somewhere. Like, I feel like that can be a bit of a generational difference. We have some younger friends who I think are like, oh, like that's coercion. And I'm like, I don't know. If you're older than 18 and you are making that choice, like that wouldn't be my choice. Mm-hmm. So I guess that I don't want to say that there's no gray, but like, right, certainly in cases where people are underage, because you have to draw the line somewhere, there's just no question of there being consent in my mind. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's not great.
I'll go as far as to say it's bad.
Yeah.
And
good take.
Yeah, I don't condone the Epstein stuff at all.
That was good of you. Oh God, I'm glad you spoke out. I'll join you. I'll second you on that.
Yeah.
It's also just kind of like feels like a weird, and this is no one's fault. I mean, I guess it's the Trump administration's fault for not just like releasing the files completely. But it's also now it feels like a weird tabloid type thing where like something else comes out and then we all read about it. And just something about that dynamic even feels kind of icky.
Yeah.
I guess the tabloid feeling of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Though, I mean, like, I'm glad people are reporting on it. I'm not saying they shouldn't. It just, the whole thing feels weird. It feels weird to read about. It feels...
I think it has the function of like slowly just normalizing the pedophilia that we're all so horrified by.
I hope maybe, I mean, this is too much to hope for probably, but like, it does feel so garish. And I think it almost, there's this one kind of conservative Catholic lady I listen to sometimes. And she was like, understandably just talking about how awful it is. Like, I hope that it is something that can kind of be like, regardless of party affiliation or whatever, like the elites are awful. Like, I don't know. I hope that there's some unifying factor that comes out of it.
No, I think for some people it's like, well, yeah, dude, that shit's awesome.
But I do think a lot of people are disturbed. Like,
oh, for sure.
Which is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, yes, I think that there are some people who are so cynical that they were like Pizzagate conspiracy theorists and now are like, well, it's my pedophile essentially. Like, I'm not going to be mad. But I do think there are a lot of people who are pretty disturbed.
Should I start selling "He's My Pedophile" sweatshirts?
No, that's a terrible idea.
Okay.
But it's kind of funny. But no, it's a terrible idea. But yeah, I mean, maybe that's something that could come out of it, just kind of understanding how normalized it is. And I think this is not the same thing, and I don't want to equate them, but even just checking those impulses in ourselves to try to make yourself like younger or like feel like that is normal. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
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 Okay.
That's all I got.
All right, Epstein bad. Do you see Huckabee? Actually, I wanted to play this clip real quick. This is Mike Huckabee on
I'm excited to hear this because I've been hearing commentary on it, but I haven't heard
Carlson.
the actual clip.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not excited. I know it's bad, but
yeah. So this is the U.S. ambassador to Israel.
Look how cute the cat is.
Yeah, she is cute.
I'm not going to let you off on this because you have said it 3 times that God gave this land to this people. And so it is entirely fair for me with respect to ask, what land are you talking about? Because I just read Genesis 15, as I have many times. Mm-hmm. And that land, I think it says, from the Nile to the Euphrates, which is, once again, basically the entire Middle East. So God gave that land to his people, the Jews, or he didn't. You're saying he did. What does that mean? Does Israel have the right to that land? Because you're appealing to Genesis. Yeah. You're saying that's the original deed.
It would be fine if they took it all.
Yeah.
He had to walk this back, but like obviously I think he does mean it.
Oh, for sure he means it.
Yeah, but he did officially walk it back from the Trump administration, but yeah.
That means nothing at this point,
100%,
right?
yeah.
Like this is him for a second being like, yeah, no, this is like what we believe and like this is what I'm working toward.
From the river to the sea, if you will.
I mean, like you think about that and I mean, yeah, Israel has been telegraphing it. A lot of the IDF soldiers wear the Greater Israel patch that includes like parts of Egypt all the way up to Iraq and like most of what's considered to be the Middle East as Israel. And with the U.S. moving into war position with Iran, like if Israel pushes up to the point of Greater Israel, like it would be on a border with Iran, which is not what Israel wants, obviously. And so they need to destroy it essentially. And like the U.S. is just going to, looks like apparently, try to do that on its behalf.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are your thoughts about whether or not he'll bomb or like try to make a deal? Well, I don't mean this in a prediction market sense, because one of the gross things is that people are just betting on this. It's disgusting.
That's awful.
Yeah.
That's very icky. Well, first I want to kind of talk about the clip a little bit. I'm so glad you played it because it got so much coverage, but I didn't hear that many people like actually like reading out the script of what he said. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is a very like mask off moment of just like, actually this would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we need to start calling Christian zealots and like Christian Zionists like Mike Huckabee, like they are like religious fundamentalists. They are like essentially terrorists. Like,
yeah,
it's just like, it's wild that they can say these things in the name of their religious beliefs and that they're in power in a supposedly secular state that's obviously not secular.
Like, what's the difference between this guy and like Bezalel Smotrich or whatever, the Ben Gvir guy who like are constantly going to the, you know, emboldening like these terrorist settlers and being like, that's fine, and going to prisons where they're holding Palestinians and like saying that they're gonna like kill them all and like
or
beat
like
them. And
just to use an example that a lot of Americans are more kind of preconditioned to associate with terrorism because they kind of exclusively associate terrorism with Islam. What's the difference between like the Islamic State, like ISIS, just being like, we deserve a state,
right,
we deserve to expand like unreservedly,
right,
we deserve to kill anyone who gets in our way. Like it's just the same exact logic. Like it's just like the logic of expansion based on your really extremist religious ideology,
yeah,
and your extremist interpretation of this text that was written, or, you know, depending on your belief, like somehow delivered in a completely different time period and context that doesn't bear, you know, a resemblance to contemporary nation state borders, and like what who the Israelites were versus the Israelis is like a world of difference. Yeah, it's very, very disturbing. What do you think about like Tucker Carlson, like kind of giving good interviews? Like, why are we in the upside down world?
I think he gives a decent clip like once every 10 interviews.
That's true. He's good at clipping. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
and I think he is, it's too late now after he supported the entire apparatus that has made all this possible.
That's true. That's a good point. I was about to give him more credit, but that is a good point.
He was like one of the key people who helped get Trump into office.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
I was going to say, like, at least he's kind of standing up against Israel now, but like it is kind of late. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know with Iran, but fuck the Revolutionary Guard, fuck the Islamic Republic, fuck the U.S. They're all awful. It's just a mess. It's really the only person who's going to win from this altercation is Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's stupid. Like, we're not even really trying to get a deal. First of all, it's the same. Obama did broker this deal and then Trump blew it up. And now Trump is like asking for a deal, but not really. He's just kind of asking for them to like completely, it would be such a large concession that they would essentially like, it would show that they had lost face as a state. So it's just, yeah, it's not even like I think we basically we are going to invade, it seems like, and that's awful because there's no plan for the day after and it's not done with any kind of intent to actually help the people of Iran.
Yeah, they're trying to say that you can't have like missiles. And I'm like, that's obviously going to be like a non-starter for them.
Yeah.
You know? And honestly, it should be because, again, like making no, holding aside whether or not you think the Iranian state should continue as it is, just the idea that you would approach a negotiation and say, like, this state that has been getting bombed by Israel and been having like its military leaders and people assassinated by the U.S. and Israel, shouldn't have missiles and shouldn't be able to defend. Of course they're going to say no. And you're trying to put out a first like negotiation that they're going to say no to, and then be like, okay, I guess we have to go to war now.
And they're barely even using it as a pretense. I mean, every other day Trump is like, or we'll do regime change. So like, it's not even like an actual strategy. They don't care enough to try and pretend that there is like, I mean, they've totally fast forwarded the part we grew up with where they gave us a whole propaganda campaign about why we had to go to war, and they're just doing it now.
Yeah, they're not even bothering to like manufacture consent. The way
maybe that at least like slow things down a tiny bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like I just have to like restate this because just, I mean, what is the full name of Iran? The Iranian Revolution, the Iranian Islamics. What's the full name of the country?
I don't know. You can just say Iran.
No, I want to say the full name. Okay. Because that seems to be important to people from Iran because they're just like trying to reclaim Iran.
Is it the People's Republic of Iran?
No, it is not. It's something with Islam in the title.
Oh.
The Islamic Republic of Iran. Oh. The Islamic Republic of Iran doesn't deserve to have anything. I mean, they just killed thousands of their own people, like thousands, like insane amounts. Like we can't know for sure how many, but they just like slaughtered wholesale tons of people. So they don't deserve anything, but the people of Iran do. And yeah, they don't deserve to be treated like pawns between their own repressive state and like our repressive state. So the whole thing is pretty depressing. Mm-hmm. But I hope that the Islamic Republic of Iran falls. Like I just hope that, I think if anything, we are kind of creating this last gasp scenario where the government has to like really shore up control over its people and be even more repressive. And can maybe get like one or two people on its side that probably not at this point to be like, well, we have to fight the US as opposed to like just letting the people take over. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it could get really messy. They seem to actually have more capability to strike like our bases within the region. It's not like a Venezuela situation. Like there will be spillover.
Well, yeah, the thing that they have is that they're like, we can strike Saudi Arabia, we can strike Emirates, we can strike like all these countries that you have friendlier diplomatic relationships with.
And also places that we have military bases, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even if the U.S. evacuated all its military bases and like those got struck or whatever, like maybe they would be willing to sacrifice that.
Who's they?
The U.S.
No, I think we'll just use it as a pretext for even more war. Like I think it'll just kind of be a one-upping thing again and again.
Yeah, but I'm saying more than attacking just military-based targets, like they could just attack other targets.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that's true. Like civilians
and really
other countries.
hurt, like again, Saudi Arabia and Emirates, and like in a way that isn't just like, oh, well, we striked your military base. It's like, yeah.
But both,
they would need to pull more of them into the conflict to put pressure on the U.S.
But even the repercussions of striking an American military base would be like vast. I mean, then we would send like full out. I mean,
they already did, right? They struck an American military base in Qatar.
But wasn't it like almost completely evacuated?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The military bases, if they like strike them, they already know that they're in a defense position, but they're not expecting that they'll, strike in the heart of like Riyadh or something like that,
Right. That's, Yeah, I don't know. It's unfortunate. It seems like it could only create more chaos and like more everyday people actually hurt. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's so difficult, like to be in Iran and between like a rock and a hard place, like how exhausting to be like fighting your government and then also fighting like this foreign power that is like, and the thing is, it's also so fucked up is like, of course this is the case, but I think it still is just like so morally awful. Like we're not even pretending. It's like all about like their supposed ability to create nuclear weapons and their supposed missile stockpiles, which also is not even a coherent narrative because apparently last time we lightly bombed, we were told that we wiped out all of their enriching supplies or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's about that. It's not about like, oh, your government just like killed thousands of their own people. Like that's not the reason for invasion, right? Like that's like the people of Iran are like entirely disposable in both the calculus of the US and of the Iranian government.
I think the inconsistencies in like the pretext, again, like you said, right? They're not bothering to give us a coherent story to manufacture consent for why we need this war. So it is truly like you can't think of another reason other than Israel wants us to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? Like, it can't be about the nuclear program because we supposedly destroyed that.
But now they're saying we didn't. Yeah. I think it's it's 100% like Israel's bidding. And also I think like Trump just has this weird cap in he has this idea of like, oh, like I removed another regime, like he's collecting them. It's really strange.
Oh yeah, he's the peace president.
Right. Yeah, it's very Orwellian. It is interesting. Like when we were growing up, I think I was 10 when the Iraq War happened, right? You were 11, right? Like, yeah,
No.
Yeah, because 9/11, we were 9 and 10.
Iraq War was 2003, so I was 12, 13.
Okay, so I was like 11, 12.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I remember even being quite young, like, yeah, the propaganda was so clearly articulated. Like I could have told you as an 11-year-old, like what we now know, obviously, and I think even you knew at the time, but I was not growing up watching Al Jazeera, unfortunately. Like I would have been like, oh, they have weapons of mass destruction. They bought I knew the line. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's no line this time.
No, there's no line.
Yeah. I remember actually, I feel like my teacher, I guess this was in the lead up to the Iraq War. I may have said this before on the podcast. I apologize if I had, but I remember my elementary school teacher, so I guess I was in 5th grade, so it was before we invaded, was like, when people buy ingredients for bread, when they buy flour, they're making bread. They're buying ingredients for weapons of mass destruction, so we know they're making weapons of mass destruction.
So stupid.
But I remember being like, oh, that makes sense. Like, they got the ingredients.
I hate that shit. People, like... Oh, God. The stupidest shit that people told us that actually, like...
That really stuck in my head. I was like, oh, flour. You're buying flour.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about cake?
Oh, no, man.
What about crackers?
It was bread. They were making bread.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What about fried chicken, dude?
Damn, true. There's no coherence this time. It's just chaos.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's bad, but that's all for today.
We should end on something more uplifting.
No, we've been going too long. I'm sleepy.
Me too.
Okay, bye.
Ramadan Mubarak.